Hi everyone, welcome to the Group Hugs YouTube channel. Today we've got Sarah Squires with us again, who specialises in dealing with the narcissist or somebody who's got a toxic personality or just downright difficult. Sarah, today we're going to speak about how on earth do you deal with someone going through court, an ex or soon to be ex, going through the court process with someone who seems to know the answer to everything, who's fighting, battling you. What do you do?
Run.
Well,
it's a very hard one. It is incredibly difficult because you are already wounded. You've been in a relationship with this person and they have beaten you down. So the strength that is within you has been all but kicked out of you. And so you're then plunged into the court arena, which needs you to be clear, concise, have all your cognitive functioning, and you've got PTSD. And so you're not fit to be in that process. And yet the narcissist who survives throughout all of this, like the cockroach, really just survives through all of it, has developed this thick skin, can go into the court process and be very clear and concise, and actually looks like a much more credible witness in the court process than you do. So one of the first things that I would always advise is don't underestimate how important support for you is. Now, whether that be family support, friend support, who, they're free, or whether it be the support of a professional to help you with all of the trauma that is going to happen. You are going to be re-traumatized by the process. You are going to have your wounds poked at by the narcissist in order to get a reaction out of you that fills their false narrative. So that would be my first bit of advice, is support. Get a really good support network, legal, financial, friends, family, and counselling, therapy as well, if you can stretch to it. But those things, without those things, you are going to struggle.
Yeah, it's interesting you said about PTSD. Is that something that if someone goes to a doctor, they'll diagnose that, or will they just call it anxiety?
It can get misdiagnosed. The thing with PTSD is it's very similar to anxiety. It presents very similarly, but it's the pattern over a period of time. So, and there's other elements to it, but it's very easy to diagnose. There's lots of different tools that healthcare professionals can use to diagnose it, and I work with lots of people who do have that diagnosis following that relationship. And treatment is possible, which I think is the important thing for people to know, is that it is possible to treat it. You just need to find the right model for you. So if you are experiencing regular flashbacks, if you've got that brain fog that goes on longer than is normal, if you struggle with your emotions, they're very up and down, from depressed to manic. It can look like bipolar in that sense, but if you've been through this sort of relationship, it's more than likely going to be PTSD or complex PTSD rather than bipolar. You would have recognized before. The PTSD is a result of a traumatic incident, and that's the relationship.
So Sarah, do you think judges recognize that the normal person is the normal person and the narcissist is the narcissist one? I mean, in my own experience, I could see that actually the narcissist was the person going on and on and on and on, with a question going round and round and round the topic and never really answering what was being asked, never getting to the point. So how does it play out in the courtroom? Do the judges recognise that?
I think with narcissists, it's over time their behaviour will be consistent and persistent throughout the process. And so over time, they're more likely to spot it. But those first hearings, no, they're not going to, because they're not mentally health trained. And we know from our experience that we didn't see it at the start either. It took time. It took that repeating of their behaviours for us to kind of join the dots a little bit. So it's very similar for professionals, which is why it's so important for people to manage their expectations going in, to understand that they're not going to see it straight away, but that's okay. As long as you stay consistent with your actions and what you're saying and your truth, they will reveal themselves in the long run. But most people sort of make the mistake of getting very frustrated quickly because they can't understand why is it not going in my favor? Why are they believing everything they say? But if you just take a step back and go, actually, I totally understand why it is the way it is. I'm just gonna take a bit of time. It's not easy at all, but they can't help but reveal who they are because it is who they are. So it does happen. It just does take a little bit more time.
Yeah. So to summarize on that section, basically, just stay calm and refuse to act out what they want you to be, because actually the narcissist cannot stand it when you are just calm and not giving any reaction. So don't react, don't react, don't react. That's it, isn't it? Really, don't react. Yeah, it
is. And that can be hard, like say when you have PTSD, you know, it's an involuntary response sometimes. So part of the support that I talked about is learning emotional regulation, so that one, you heal those symptoms, but two, you are able to stay calm in those moments. So one of the things that comes up with a lot of clients when they first come to me is they verbal diarrhea, their story. They just want to get it all out. They haven't organized the process. They haven't organized their trauma, which is part of the PTSD. But if you go to your solicitor with all of that, that is really hard for them to be able to pick out the key pieces of information that is going to really create the foundation of your case. So one of the things I teach in Get Court Ready is how to organize your evidence, how to get a timeline going, how to separate out facts from experience, from your own opinion, because the court isn't interested in that. They need the facts, and you have plenty of facts. It's just organizing them, and that is the foundation for your case. And so how you present your evidence, and in terms of what you're presenting, is equally as important as how you present it, as in your delivery of it. So it's two main parts for people: your actual evidence and how it's delivered, and how you deliver the evidence in terms of your own personal presentation.
Yeah, great advice. So tell us a bit more about your business, Get Court Ready.
So Get Court Ready was created on the back of working one-to-one with so many clients that have been through the court process a good few years, if not decade down the line, and have basically been fighting to almost get back to an even keel. They immediately got off to a bad start. The false narrative got momentum, and they were always chasing their tail. So they were coming to me sort of exasperated. What has happened? How can everyone believe them? They're damaging my relationship with my kids, and you know, I don't know what to do. So Get Court Ready was my response to that, in as much as I wanted to provide something that got people ready. So before they got into court, they were able to make sure that their evidence was ready, that they were ready, so that that false narrative couldn't gain momentum. So that the evidence that was given was seen equally, rather than theirs having more weight than yours, simply because of how it has been presented. And so Get Court Ready is all about the emotional and the practical preparation. So I do want to clarify that Get Court Ready isn't the same as legal support. There is no legal advice within that. It's more strategic, and like I say, the emotional practical preparation. So I do recommend, where possible, still getting that legal advice. Because your ex is going to they're going to bring in the big guns. If they've got the money, they're going to be bringing in a barrister. They're going to be bringing in, people to intimidate you ultimately. And unless you really work through all of the points that we've talked about, that is going to intimidate you and it is going to catch you off guard. So having a solicitor is almost like a buffer for you in those situations. Obviously, if you can't afford it, you can self-represent, but I definitely would recommend doing the work before you go into court, just so that, like I say, that narrative doesn't gain any momentum.
And do you work alongside solicitors? Do you ever go to solicitors' meetings with clients, that kind of thing?
No, I don't go to solicitors' meetings. My work is quite separate. Also, obviously, with COVID and everything, I work all over the country. Obviously, there's confidentiality issues around that as well. So no, I don't sit in on those meetings, but the work that we do through Get Court Ready around preparing evidence helps with the time. It cuts your bill, because essentially a lot of the work that people have when they go to a solicitor is just sitting there and talking through it, and then the solicitor trying to organise it and billing you for all of that. So if you're able to go in and go, okay, I think these are the key points. I think this is what has happened to me. These are the key bits of evidence. It cuts down how much time you spend in the solicitor's office and being billed for it. Which for lots of people, that's a huge factor in these. They run out of money. So if we can reduce that and do as much, and plus the fact, no one knows your case better than you do. The solicitor knows the law, and they're absolutely important, but you know your case better. So the more work you can do on your case is better for you to ensure that it is presented in an accurate way.
So it's kind of like, you get everything and then you pick out the most important things. And I remember myself, you do use your solicitor as an emotional pad sometimes and tell them everything that actually they don't really need to know. They do just need the facts. And you can really confuse your solicitor sending diatribes to them. So no, it's a great service. So how does someone get in touch with you or work with you? You've got sort of a workbook and stuff like that, haven't you, to help people?
So we Get Court Ready. It's an online course, so you work through it at your own pace. The workbook contains all the activities that support the course. So we are actually moving it over onto a brand new website, but at the minute it is accessible on the nurturingcoach.co.uk. But by the end of the month, it will be at Get Court Ready. .co.uk.
So that's by the end of September. 2021.
And you can just you purchase it. It's only £47, so it's a third of the cost of time with solicitors, but it will save you hours of time with them. So I've tried to keep costs down, because I appreciate you want to spend the money where it's well, I think you want to keep the money for the kids. So as much as I can reduce the cost, then I will do. So it's £47. Like I say, it's 7 modules, and you work through it at your own pace. Obviously, if you want additional support, I have counsellors. I do strategy calls as well with clients. That all information about that is available on the website.
Brilliant. It's just great that you can work through it at your own pace as well. It's just actually getting that whole muddle in your mind organised, isn't it? Just getting everything organised.
Absolutely, because I think when you've been abused, it's hard to trust, isn't it? It's hard to trust someone, but we sometimes tend to go to a solicitor thinking, this person is my life jacket. They're going to rescue me, and you cling to them like a lifebuoy, save you, and they can't do that. You know,
No.
unfortunately, there's some brilliant solicitors out there who are really kind and caring, but you're not the only person on their caseload. And so being able to work through this yourself, one, it helps your case, but two, it helps your healing process. You need to begin to process, and that's again part of the Get Court Ready process, is working through so that you are processing your experience both for your case and for your healing as well. And there's emotional regulation and emotional recovery exercises in there as well to really support that. Because remember, this is psychological warfare. It's not like you're going to court with your next door neighbour over a fence, where it's pretty black and white. And yeah, there might be a bully, but this is someone who knows how to really poke at your wounds. And unless you learn how to put on your best armor and you really are strong enough to go into battle, they're going to run over you in the court process, because court isn't the place for you to be your vulnerable self. You need that suit of armor.
So the course is really going to empower people, and like you say, get them court ready and ready for that little battle that's ensuing. Oh, I wish I'd known about this when I had to go through it all. I just remember like it was yesterday, just the whole muddle of it all, and knowing how to press your buttons. But there was nothing like this that I knew about to help me, and it was all a bit of a mess. So yes, so I'm learning expert from experience. And really, I think it's a great thing. So all the details will be on your Hug directory entry, so people can get in touch with you and order that workbook. But it just sounds like it's definitely something to give a go to before you even go to see the solicitor, just to get you in the right space, headspace. Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much, Sarah, for that, and we'll be seeing more of you, I'm sure, over the coming months, talking about all these different topics around dealing with the narcissist in different situations, especially getting divorced and dealing with your children, that type of thing as well. So thank you very much for the little chat we've had today. Brilliant, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to help people, and I hope that they take some value from our conversation today.
I'm sure they will. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.